Hello everyone, in this video we'll be talking about the X-ray beam characteristics. So first we'll explain the beam collimation. It reduces patient exposure to unnecessary radiation by collimating the X-ray beam into a smaller area. Improves image contrast by reducing scatter. We know that if we increase the collimation or increase the field of view of the beam, it will increase the scatter into the image, which will reduce the image contrast. From knowing these 2 points, we know that it focuses X-rays only on the area of interest. So how to use the beam collimation? It can be used by physical device to restrict beam size. We can see it here under the tube itself. This is the collimator. It's adjustable lead shutters and it defines rectangular or square field. So we can adjust that field depending on the area of interest that we want to emit. And it will reduce scatter significantly. Now we'll see the light field alignment. Collimator includes visible light to allow technologists to see projected field. What do we mean by that? We know that the field itself or the exposure field, we cannot see it. So in that case, we need a tool or a way to see the exposure field. And in that case, we will be using the visible light. Must be aligned with X-ray beam. So the light field should be aligned with X-ray beam. So as we decrease the light field, the X-ray beam should follow that light field area. Ensures proper patient positioning. Also, it will help the technologist to position the patient in the middle of the detector, because that light, it's in the middle of the detector, and if the patient is misaligned with that detector, it can be easily seen and the patient positioning will be adjusted accordingly. Now we have the field size. A smaller field will cause less patient dose and scatter, which yield a higher contrast but less coverage. So as we decrease the light field, for sure we'll be decreasing the exposure area to the patient, which will reduce the patient dose in the scatter in the image, but we will be covering less part. Must include entire anatomy of interest. If you're interested in the whole chest here, we need to open that light field to cover all that area. Now we have 2 beam collimation types. We have the manual collimation. It's adjustable by operator or technologist, so the technologist can adjust that field depending on the area of interest. And we have the automatic collimation, which matches detector size, which is used in the digital radiography systems. So the collimation can be manually collimated or automatically collimated. Now we'll move to the important concept, which is the filtration. X-ray beam contains photons of various energies, high and low energy photons. So our beam, it's not a mono-energetic beam. It has spectrum of energies, and each energy has certain number of photons that have same energy. Low energy photons are mostly absorbed by the patient, which will increase patient dose without benefits, because when we have a very low energy photons in our beam, these very low energy photons will be easily absorbed in the skin. It will not penetrate and it will not be absorbed inside the patient. So in this case, it will not contribute to the contrast in the image or the quality of the image, but it will contribute for sure to the patient dose, which is something that we don't need. So in this case, we need the filtration to filter these low energy photons. So filtration removes these photons, which reduces the dose. So we can use 0.5 to 2.5 millimeter of aluminum or 0.1 to 0.3 millimeter of copper. So we can use aluminum or copper in this case to filter these low energy photons. Okay, now we'll move to different types of filtration. We have inherent filtration, which is caused by glass envelope of tube or oil surrounding tubes. These two can absorb a little bit from the very low photon energy inside the tube. And we have the added filtration. It's aluminum or copper sheets added in beam bath. So the added filtration, it will be here to absorb these low energy photons. Now we'll be talking about a term which is beam hardening. It's very important term even for CT as well. Filtration removes soft or low energy photons. In this case, it will increase the average photon energy because we remove the low energy photon from our spectrum, and in this case the average photon energy in our beam will increase and it will reduce entrance skin dose, and from that it improves image quality slightly. It reduces contrast from soft tissue slightly, and it's mandatory in modern radiography. So what do we mean by beam hardening? It means that we have a higher average photon energy. In this case, the beam is getting hard. It means it has a higher number of photon energy having a higher energy. Let's see this example here. This is our spectrum here, and when we filter this spectrum, we will be having less number of photons because we removed low photon energies from our beam or from our spectrum, and these low photon energies is out of our spectrum, so the average will be higher compared to the non-filtered spectrum. Now let's talk about the beam quantity and beam quality. For the beam quantity, it's the number of X-ray photons in the beam. So when we say the beam quantity, we mean the number of photons in our beam. It directly affects exposure to patient in detector. And now we have the other one, which is the beam quality. It's about the penetrating ability of the X-ray beam, and it depends on photon energy, which is the KVB infiltration. So when we say the beam quality, we mean the penetrating ability, and therefore the main parameter that is responsible for the beam quality is the KVB infiltration. And it's mainly about the energy itself, or the energy of the photons. So what's the factors affecting beam quantity? We have the MA, or the tube current. As we have higher MA, it means we have more electrons and we'll be having more X-rays or photons. And also the exposure time, which is in seconds. Longer exposure means we have more X-rays produced or photons. And we have the distance from source, which is the SID. Intensity decreases with increasing distance, which is governed by the inverse square law. As we increase the SID, the number of photons reaching the detector will be less. This is why the intensity will decrease as we increase the SID. And we have the filtration. The filtration will remove low energy photons, which therefore reduces quantity. So as we filter more, the beam quantity will decrease. So now what's the factors affecting the beam quality? First, we have the KVB, or the peak voltage. When we increase the KVB, we will be having higher photon energy, and therefore we will be having greater penetration. What about the filtration? Filtration will remove low energy photons, which in result will increase the mean energy of our spectrum or our beam. So now we'll be talking about the X-ray spectrum itself. In the X-ray spectrum, we'll be having continuous spectrum, which results from Brimstrong, and we have the discrete peaks, which will be results from the characteristic X-ray. We can see here the X-ray spectrum, or our X-ray spectrum. We have the Brimstrong causing variety of energies with number of photons, and here we have the characteristic X-ray as discrete peaks in our beam. And the maximum photon energy will be here, and this is the one we select in our DR system. Maximum photon energy is equal to KVB. KEV is the energy of a single photon, or the average. So the general idea, when I say KVB, I mean the peak of our spectrum. So our peak is here, so my KVB will be the number that is sitting here. But when I say the KEV, it can have the meaning of the single photon energy or the average energy. Spectrum shape affected by target material and filtration. The target material will affect our spectrum shape for sure, and the filtration as well will affect the spectrum. Now we'll define the beam intensity. Is defined as the product of both quality and the quantity of that beam during the exposure relative to a specific area. So the beam intensity is the product of both the quality and the quantity of the beam. It's directly proportional to mass, so if we double the mass in our technique, it will double the intensity, and also will increase with higher KVB. So the intensity will be affected with the KVB as well. So the intensity of the beam, it will be proportional to the atomic number of the target, and proportional to the MA, or the current, and it's proportional to the KVB square. So in this case, increasing KVB will have much higher contribution or effect to the intensity than the MA in the atomic number. Now we will talk about the inverse square law. The intensity of X-rays decreases with the square of the distance from the source. So the formula will be the final intensity will equal the initial intensity times the inverse square factor here, as we can see here. D refers to the distance in our formula. Important for patient dose calculation technique adjustments. So this is a very important rule in our calculation if you want to see the effect of distance over the intensity of the beam. Now let's take an overview of exposure factors. For the KVB, it's the peak tube voltage. So we can set our KVB to any number we want, but that number, it doesn't mean our spectrum will be having the whole photons having the same KEV. It means that our spectrum will have a maximum number. In that maximum number, it's the KVB. In the other photons will have spectrum of energies, different number of photons having different KEV. For the MA, it's the tube current. In that current, it will control the number of electrons that is produced in the filament, which eventually affecting the number of photons that is produced. The time, which is in seconds, it's the exposure duration. In the mass will be the product of the MA times the time. So these parameters parameters have contribution to the beam quantity, the beam quality, the image contrast, and the patient dose. So adjusting any parameters from here, it can have contribution to one of these or multiple of these lists. So changing any of these parameters, for sure it will have an effect of one of these or multiple at the same time of this list. For the KVB, it determines maximum photon energy in beam penetration. So changing KVB, for sure it will change the maximum photon energy in our beam, and also the beam penetration for the whole spectrum will change. I mean, the average energy of our beam will increase in our spectrum. Higher KVB, it means having more penetrating X-rays, and the effect will be on the image contrast, because higher KVB, it will reduce the contrast in the image, because when we have a more penetration photons, it means the tissues will start having the same contrast in the image. Also, it will affect the patient dose. Higher KVB, for sure, it means higher exposure to the patient. For the tube current, it means the number of electrons produced in the cathode side. As we increase the tube current, it means we are producing more electrons. Controls quantity of X-ray produced. So the MA, it only controls the quantity of the X-ray or the photons in our beam. Higher MA, it means higher intensity. It doesn't affect the beam energy. So it's only affecting the number of electrons, which eventually affecting the quantity of the photon. For the exposure time, it's the duration which X-rays are produced. When we have longer time, it means we have more photons, which eventually higher exposure to the patient. In the trade-off, when we have longer exposure, it means there is a possibility having more motion blur if the patient moves. For the mass, we know that the mass, it's the product of the tube current times time, determines total X-ray quantity, so it will only affect the beam quantity in our case. So MA times time equals the mass. Directly proportional to patient dose, it means that if we double the mass, it will double the patient dose. Important for SNR and image contrast. Why it's important? Because the SNR, or signal to noise ratio, it's affected by the number of photons in our beam. As we have more photons reaching the detector, it means we have more signal compared to the noise. And eventually we will be having more image contrast. So using highest KVB with acceptable contrast to reduce dose is recommended. Why? Because when we having more KVB, we'll be having less low energy photons in our beam, and it will be absorbed by the patient's skin. Adjust mass to achieve optimal contrast. Just we need to adjust the mass to have sufficient signal to noise ratio, which eventually affecting the contrast. Reduce exposure time to minimize motion blur. If we can reduce the exposure time, for sure we will be minimize motion blur that can be in our image. So let's talk about a concept here. When we have the same mass, but this mass has high MA with very short time, we will use it if we have moving parts that can cause motion blur. So in this case, we have a very short time and a very high MA, and it's used to minimize motion blur. However, this will produce less resolution or blooming effect, for example, in chest X-ray. So we know that the mass, it's the product of the tube current in time. If we increase the tube current and we reduce the time as short as possible, we will freeze the image. So if we have any motion blur in our image, will be eliminated. But in this case, since we have a high tube current, it will decrease the resolution in our image due to blooming effect. And this technique is mainly used for the chest X-ray because we need to have that very short exposure time. So for the same mass as well, we use lower MA with longer time if you want a high resolution in case there is no motion expected, for example, hand X-ray. So if we have hand X-ray, we can use lower MA with longer exposure because we don't have any motion expected that may ruin our image. In that case, we will be having a high resolution. So the operator or the technologist can select these parameters, KVB, to control the beam quality, and the MA to control the beam quantity, and the exposure time. These parameters requires knowledge of patient size, anatomy, and imaging goals. If the technologist wants to adjust these parameters, he or she needs to have that knowledge about the anatomy, the patient size, and the imaging goals. Now let's talk about the manual techniques in digital radiography. When we have fixed KVB but variable mass, we mean that if we keep the KVB fixed, but we change the mass, the KVB remains constant, mass adjusted based on the patient thickness. So if you have a very thick patient, we will increase the mass compared to the thin patient or thin parts and ensure consistent contrast. So in this case, because we fixed the KVB, the contrast will be consistent. In the other case, we have the variable KVB with fixed mass. I mean, we change the KVB, but we fixed mass. The KVB changes according to thickness. When we have a thick patient, we'll be having a higher KVB compared to thin patient or thin part. Mass remains constant because we didn't change it. It is fixed. And the image contrast will change because we change the KVB. The image contrast will be significantly affected. What about the exposure charts? It's already chart or a table that directs the technologist about the technique selection. It includes KVB, MA, time, SID, and in part thickness. It helps standardize imaging and reduce errors. So it helps the technologist to select the proper parameters according to the part we want to image. What's the advantages of manual technique when we use the manual technique by putting our KVB, MA in the exposure time? It has full control over exposure. We have the control of the exposure. It's flexible for unusual anatomy. So if we have a very thick part, we can adjust the parameters as we like, and it's useful in teaching and quality control. So in this case, we can see the effects of changing the parameters on our image. What about the limitations or disadvantages of manual technique? It requires experience and knowledge because changing these parameters is not as easy as we think, because every part and every patient has different thicknesses and different type of tissues in this area, so we need to adjust these parameters according to that. Prone to operator errors, so if the operator or the technologist is not fully aware or doesn't have enough knowledge to adjust these parameters, it can cause bad image quality. It can result in overexposure or repeats if charts are outdated. So there is possibility of overexposure to the patient because we select inaccurate parameters, and the repeats will occur if this parameter is not giving a good image quality. What about the effect on patient dose? Increasing the mass will increase the patient dose linearly, as we explained in this lecture, and increasing KVB will increase the penetration and exposure to the patient. So as we increase the mass or KVB, it will increase the exposure to the patient. Now let's move to the source to image distance, or SID. It's the distance from X-ray tube focal spot to image receptor. So it's the distance from here, from the focal spot to the image receptor or image detector. So when we have longer SID, I mean if we move the tube away, we'll be having less geometric magnification, and therefore we'll be having better spatial resolution. It requires adjustment of exposure mass to maintain image quality, or KVB. So as we move the tube away from the patient, it means that a fewer photons will reach the detector. In this case, we need to adjust that or compensate for that by increasing the mass or KVB. For the source to skin distance, which is from the focal spot to the skin of the patient, this is the SSD, or the source to skin distance. When we have short SSD, by having the skin near to the X-ray tube, it means we'll be having higher skin dose. Why? Because the skin will be near to the X-ray source, which means we'll be having higher skin dose. Longer SSD, by moving the tube away, it has lower entrance dose for the same exposure. And that's it for our lecture, and we will see you in the next lecture.